All right, on deck.
Council agenda, Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, Township Council agenda meeting of September 11th, 2018.
Posting a notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building and on the municipal website on December 20th, 2017, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December 27, 2018, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers on December 20th, 2017. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Public Access Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Sundays and Wednesdays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Please rise for the flag salute. Peterson, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Here.
Ms. Grignani,
Present.
Ms. McCarthy,
Here.
Ms. Peterson,
Here.
Mr. Carriffy.
Here. Upcoming meetings, September 25th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. Regular meeting. October 16th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. Agenda meeting. Approval of minutes. Okay, presentations, reports. At this time, we're going to just show, and I'd like to ask everybody to stand up, and we're going to have a moment of silence. We're going to have a very short slide presentation for the remembrance of 9/11. Thank you. You guys want to come down with me? You guys want to come down with me?
All of us?
Yeah.
Jack, are you taking pictures?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. And as we get started, on August 15th of this summer, at the Glacier Hills pool, a 9-year-old boy jumped into that pool and went under the water and never came up. At that time, some young individuals that we have here tonight and a resident from the Glacier Hills area jumped into that pool that day and saved that 9-year-old boy's life. And that is truly, truly amazing, amazing. I live in Sedgefield, so hopefully, if God forbid I ever need you guys, you're right there. I mean, that is, you know, I'm sure the parents and the family of that 9-year-old boy will cherish you guys forever, forever. And it really is an honor to honor you people tonight. It truly is. You know, it's people like you that make our community great. It really is. And I really want to thank you, and I'm sure all of the council members and the administration and everyone here just want to say thank you. Really, thank you so much. I know some of your families, and I know that that's where you get it from. So I'm going to read off the certificates here. It's Township of Parsippany, Troy Hills, Certificate of Recognition presented to Rosie Wallach for her quick response in a crisis situation, providing emergency medical care and attention and averting a potential tragic loss to family, friends, and the community. With much gratitude and admiration, dated this 11th day of September 2018. Please come up. Like to say a few words?
I don't know, I mean, it's just, thank you. Oh. Sorry. Yeah, a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes, thank you so much.
Have you seen him?
Yeah,
since then?
yeah, we went to visit him, and we brought him like this and stuff from the playroom, so.
Right.
He's really a wonderful young kid, you know, obviously I didn't know him before, but now that I do, it's even more strengthening that, like, you know, he's alive.
He owes his life to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, next we have Kendall. Okay. Again, I'll read it. Township of Parsippany, Troy Hills, Certificate of Recognition presented to Kendall Patiolo for her quick response in a crisis situation, providing emergency medical care and attention and averting a potential tragic loss to family, friends, and the community. With much gratitude and admiration, dated this 11th day of September 2018. I understand the other young gentleman that was the lifeguard on that day, Kevin, was unable to attend tonight. So just want to state from all of us, Kevin Mulligan was another one of the lifeguards that was there that day, and that young boy owes his life to him as well. So we want to thank Kevin. Okay, next, we're going to recognize the person that is responsible for a lot of the lifeguard training that the lifeguards get, and it's definitely a major factor in you guys knowing what to do in that situation, and it's just as important. Township of Parsippany, Troy Hills, Certificate of Recognition presented to Kyle Berry in appreciation for his dedication and commitment to the proper training of lifeguards in emergency situations, whereby ensuring the water safety of all the members of the swimming community. Dated this 11th day of September 2018.
basically, I haven't been up in a chair at all this whole summer, and I give all this to the guards. They did a hell of a job saving that kid. And yeah, I mean, they deserve all this credit because they work very, very hard, and they're just amazing, all of them.
Do you want to say anything? I didn't give you the opportunity. And last but not least, Janet? Okay. Janet is the one, the civilian that was on Civil Corps, civilian, the lifeguards, that jumped into action right away and is just as responsible for saving this 9-year-old boy. We really appreciate that. Township of Parsippany Troy Hill, certificate of recognition to Lieutenant Janet Adams for her quick response to crisis situation, providing emergency medical care and attention and averting potential tragic loss to family, friends, and the community. Presented this day, Wednesday, September 2000.
I know what you mean.
These young ladies and gentlemen were, okay, they were calm, cool, and they did what they had to do, and if it wasn't for them, I couldn't have done what I did.
Thank you. Can you guys come up too? Top? May have to turn aside.
Right angle lens?
I got you.
Oh, they're gonna read it. No, you just read it. So because
Wait.
And if the parents, if you guys want to take any pictures, you guys
oh man, I didn't realize it was this long. Oh.
do any other family members want to get? You guys want to go out there? You sure? Sure you got it?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Thanks so much.
Again, it's young people like that that make Parsippany great. Thank you.
You're not kidding.
All right, so at this time, if unless you guys want to stay for the rest of our meetings, probably your chance to get home. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right,
Good night.
thank you. Okay, moving on. Township Attorney?
Good evening, Council President. Scott Collins, sitting in for Jim Lott tonight.
Any,
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay,
Thank you.
Are you going to?
I'm not
Double
on
it up?
there, but I'll double up today.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. Tax bills are going out for the fourth quarter with all the adjustments with the final tax rates, okay, and also homestead rebates. So most people will see their tax drop quite a bit, which is good news. That should be within 10 days to 2 weeks. We've also started the budget process early for 2019. We're starting inside hearings with the Finance Committee on October 2nd. So this is very early, which is great this year. And we're also going to be going out for some bond anticipation notes. When I come to the next meeting, we'll be looking at doing some of that so we can go forward with our projects. And that's about it.
Thank you. Township Clerk?
No report at this time, Council President.
Okay, Township Offices, Committees, Reports?
Yeah, I just want to, we had the Economic Development Committee gave a plaque to the Man Perfume Company that opened its headquarters in Parsippany earlier this week. So it was a very nice ribbon cutting ceremony.
Can you talk more near Mike, Janice?
Oh, okay. All right, I just mentioned that the Man Perfume Company opened up their headquarters in Parsippany. The ribbon cutting ceremony was Wednesday. It was really a nice event, and we look forward to our new the company in town.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may.
Sure.
The Stickley Museum at Craftsman's Farm will be having Fall Family Day this Saturday. It's a very nominal fee, $5 for members and $7 for non-members. The event is from 12 to 4 o'clock. It's a great day for you to bring your children or even adults to come and visit the Stickley Museum and see Gustav Stickley's furniture and the homes that are there. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to talk briefly about a situation that was brought to my attention just prior to the meeting by some of our residents. The staging area on Route 202. I know this has been brought up many times at our council meetings in the past. That staging area, when they did the construction project for the on-ramp of onto Route 80 and down towards 287, they used that section of Route 202, and originally they were supposed to, when that project was done, they were supposed to restore that to the condition that it was in prior to. It has now come to our attention that they were given permission to use it for some other projects, and that they are now using the equipment that they are staging there for some construction along Route 53 and on Park Road. And the residents that live along close to 202 and along Park Road, there's trucks that are going up and down Park Road all night. When they're in reverse, the beeping sounds, the lights, and this goes on till about 8 o'clock in the morning. I believe Park Road has a weight limit, so I don't know what the situation with that is, if any of these vehicles are over that or not, but it's definitely not fair to these residents. I know the noises are even going down onto Marcella Road and Kingston Road in that area as well. And I know we were looking into that. I know, Mike, you remember that. About getting that, back.
Yeah, but you said that someone gave them permission to use that, reuse that staging area? Who?
That's what I was told. That
Who's the someone?
I guess the state was given permit. They were granted to an extension to use it. I know it looked like it had started to be cleared out, but obviously they're still using it.
They promised to clear it out after the final project on Route 80.
Right.
Increasing the queue line for.
Yeah, I guess apparently
Route 80.
now they're doing some construction work along Route 53. And
they are,
some of
yeah.
those, I know they are. I
Yeah.
pass it, and vehicles from that location are coming out of there and going down Park Road, I guess, over to
Well,
that
there-
area.
If those trucks are traveling the whole length of Park Road just to use our staging area, I think we should object to the state. We
Yeah,
should-
I don't know if that's the
should-
only project that they're using. They may be using it for other projects, maybe further down on Route 80.
If they're working on Route 53, find the staging area up in that area or in Denville. Why are they coming all the way to this
Right.
staging area?
Yeah, I don't know.
We need
but
to have someone in the administration
can,
reach out to them.
Yeah, if Colette, if you can, follow up with Ellen. I know Ellen had been in contact with people in the past in reference to that.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Yeah,
I'll find out exactly.
Voice the township's objections.
Yeah. Yes,
Let them
I'll
find
talk to
one
Ellen when.
Closer to what
I
they
do
need.
remember her doing something with that. I'll speak to her when she gets back.
I mean, not only the noise and the traffic and things that but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
on site.
Mr.
It-
Schneider has a comment.
Yes.
Excuse me, but Mr. Lisa should be involved in that also.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
do.
Thank you.
I believe he knows
That's
what's going on there? Okay.
We
Yeah.
know nothing about Park Road or 53.
I will.
But I know I've gotten complaints about that staging
Yeah.
area from several residents about the, I don't know, what's putting stuff in storm drains and so forth and so on.
We can have Justin Lisa look into it and then just send an email to the council reporting on what's
Okay,
going
yes,
on.
this way we can get back to the residents that were here, asking questions about that.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, engineering report. Knoll Road Improvement Project. Construction of the Knoll Road Improvement Project is substantially complete. Only minor punch items remain and shall be finished by mid-September. No council action required. Lake Parsippany Road Improvements. Phase 6 project. Construction of the 6th phase of the Lake Parsippany Road Improvement Project is in progress. Work will continue through October. No council action is required. 2018 Road Resurfacing Project. The milling and resurfacing of various streets throughout the township continues. In addition to resurfacing the roadways, the contractor is also repairing damaged curb and replacing handicap ramps where needed within the project limits. All work is expected to be substantially complete by the beginning of October. No council action required. Old Bloomfield Ave Phase 1 project. The first phase of the Old Bloomfield Avenue project is in construction. The project is about 70% complete, and we anticipate all work will be finished by the end of September. No council action required. Moraine Area Streets Phase 2 project. The second phase of this project has started, and construction activity will increase in the next few weeks. Construction is expected to last through the fall. No council action is required. Mount Tabor Area Streets Phase 3 Improvement Project. Construction on this phase of the project began a few weeks ago. Work will continue through the end of the construction season. No council action is required. Drainage issues. Engineering and the Public Works Department have investigated several drainage issues on Stafford Road and Cherry Lane. A severe drainage issue exists in the easement behind the homes on Stafford Ave and Winfield Drive. The source of the problem appears to be substantial root intrusion into the storm drain pipe. Public Works will use a root cutter to remove the blockage and install an additional inlet to collect runoff as it concentrates. A similar drainage concern was identified behind the homes on Cherry Lane. Roots were removed from the drainage pipe, and the area appears to have improved significantly. We will continue to monitor this area. No council action required. I know Councilwoman Grignani wanted to make a comment on this.
Yes, at our last council meeting, a gentleman came up from Stafford Road, and also my brother lives on Stafford Road. And I asked if the engineering department, Public Works, whomever was or could be involved, please look into it. And I've received emails stating that, yes, they will be taking care of the project as stated. I want to thank Ken Merle, Justin Lisa from engineering, and Ken from the road department, and of course Ellen Sandman, our business administration, who spearheaded the go-ahead. Let's put it that way. But thank you.
Thank you. Rockaway River Disnagging Project. The contractor was hired to remove fallen trees in 2 sections of the Rockaway River. The desnagging locations were restricted to areas that were adjacent to roadways to avoid NJDEP permits and limited the scope due to the need to stay below the bid threshold. We were able to remove trees from the Knoll Road Bridge to a point 3,500 feet upstream, and from Vale Road Bridge to a point 1,100 feet upstream. We are also working with the NJDEP to secure permits prior to bidding a large-scale project in the near future. No council action required. Endorsement of the NJDOT Transportation Enhancement Grant. We are in the process of preparing and submitting a grant application through the NJDOT Transportation Alternatives Set-Asides Grant Program. The application is for the streetscape and the traffic calming improvements on North Beverick Road from Claudine Terrace to Seneca Avenue. Resolutions endorsing the application will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Endorsement of the NJDOT Safety Rules in Schools Grant. We are in the process of preparing and submitting a grant application through the NJDOT Safe Routes to Schools Grant Program. The application is for improvements around schools for safer access, particularly for drop-off and pickup in front of Knollwood School. Resolutions endorsing the applications will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Vacation of a portion of the water main easement, Block 202, Lot 6.01, Dryden Way. The owner of the above property has requested the vacation of the existing 30-foot wide water line easement on the reference property. The Water Department Superintendent has no objection. See attached memo. An ordinance must be adopted by the Township Council in order to vacate this portion of the easement. Mill Creek Residential Performance Guarantee Release, Block 725, Lot 6. The developer completed all site work in accordance with the approved plans. Inspections were made during the course of the construction, and this office has no objection to the release of the performance bond. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council.
You have the Department of Public Works.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
What's it?
On the township committees, you've got the Department of Public Works here.
Oh, okay. We'll go to that now. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, we have from the Department of Public Works, Greg Snyder and Chad Creets, updates on North Beverick Road garbage issues.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you. And to the folks out there that don't know me, I'm Greg Snyder, Director of Public Works. And this is Chad Kretz, who's the Enforcement Officer in the Public Works Department. We're here tonight on the request of, I believe it was you, Janice.
Yes, it was.
If not, it was Ellen, to speak a little bit about the ongoing issues with North Beverick Road, the business district, as far as garbage issues, recycling issues, and the nonconformity by any of the businesses there that are just not working with us. We've made a lot of progress, and Chad will go into it very shortly, but we still have a long way to go. And we need everybody's cooperation, and after Chad finishes his presentation, you'll see we are making inroads in improving this situation. I'll turn this over to Chad now.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Well, we have some issues with a few residents in Lake Hiawatha, a few businesses, but all in all, they comply. They try to comply. There's one particular business that has an issue all the time with its dumpster, and it being people throwing recycling in the dumpster. It's not them who's creating the recycling mess. It's people, other people than the business. We had the MCMUA come out and do an investigation themselves, and they found that they recycle everything that they're supposed to. And we pick up 20 cans of recycling every week. They have a shed dedicated to recycling. They have a big, huge basket for cardboard. And they do what they're supposed to do. So that's an ongoing issue because their dumpster is tiny and people go by, and whether it's patrons that come out of the store and put their recycling in there, it happens. Unfortunately, they're getting the brunt of why it's happening. So there were some things that they can do as far as getting a big container, or we come twice a week. We don't pick them up, actually, it's private. They come twice a week so it doesn't overflow and spill on the grounds. Other than that, come January, I'm going to go to every business on Beverwick Road personally and talk to them. I have a whole presentation for them to follow. It has all the rules and regulations that they need to do to keep their storefront clean, to have recycling bins inside their facility, to not use the recycling containers outside of their building, the ones that we provide from township. Everything from the weight issues of their garbage cans to the mess that what they can't put in there. So I have a whole list of what they can and can't put in, the mandated recycling material, the stuff that they're not supposed to put in. There's so much stuff now with the change with China closing their doors that nobody knows what to recycle anymore. I mean, I'm going to an Anjar awards dinner, and their theme right on the top, it says, when in doubt, throw it out. That's how bad it is. So nobody knows what to recycle anymore. I brought a poster so some of you can see it because it's bigger. These are items that you think you can recycle. Everybody thinks they can recycle everything on here, and you can't. None of this stuff can be curbside. You could see it from forks, plastic forks, to glass Pyrex, to your hangers, to pill bottles, Chinese food containers. None of that stuff is recyclable curbside. So nobody knows what to do anymore. So when someone sees this stuff in the garbage cans, they're not recycling. Everybody's upset. They're not recycling. Well, they're recycling, but food contamination is destroying us. These problems, these things are destroying us, and that's why they shut the doors, because this is all garbage to them, and there's no place to put it anymore. They don't have landfills, so now they have to take our garbage and ship it somewhere else, and so that's why where we're taking this stuff, they won't accept anything anymore. I mean, they're really shutting the door on us. And so our hands are tied. So everything that we think that we can recycle, we can't. Not curbside. We can do it. You can bring these items somewhere. And I have information on where you can bring it. And I have a great thing here because a lot of people have issues with plastics. So your plastic bags. So you know those air pillows you get from Amazon, and you get a shipment and those air pillows? So air pillows and grocery plastic bags and the case wrap around your water and your newspaper bags and your bread bags and your Ziploc bags and everything else, from paper towels, napkin, bathroom tissue, all that plastic. You can bundle all that up, bring it to ShopRite, and they'll take it. That's great. Good for you. Yeah, but not many people know that you can do that. So that's why we sat you here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Would you be able to put some of that information in a one-page document?
Yes. Yeah. I have.
Would
this
we
is-
be able to mail that out with the fourth quarter taxes?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Probably
Can
with
we-
maybe with a
This right
sewer
here is
bill.
the best
Maybe
piece
with
of paper
sewer.
With the sewer bill? Okay.
Maybe. I'm gonna check it out.
I mean, I'll leave a copy here, but I can email it to you.
I think we should mail it to all the residents. I
We
mean,
should mail it
some
to
of them
all
are
the
not aware of this.
We have a calendar that does reach everybody in town, but
I have the calendar.
all that information is not on there,
No, it
but a
isn't.
lot of it is. And here's another thing here too. We're getting modernized now. This is an app that I got for the township that's free, that everybody can download right here. It's free. And if you have a question of where what goes, just punch it in. Where does my hanger go? It'll tell you what to do with it. Where does my pill bottle go? It'll tell you what to do with it. What do I do with a bowling ball? It'll tell you what to do with it. Anything that you can think of, it's on this app. We have it. It's free. We're contracted till the 2020. The state is paying for it. So why not use it? And you want to get alerts? It'll alert you. Don't put your garbage out today. It's a holiday. Don't put your cardboard out on Wednesday. We're not picking it up. It's a holiday week. You
Can we put that besides the
put that on the
website? Can
website,
maybe
yeah.
This is
mail
on
that
this is
little
on the
flyer out
website.
too, so
Absolutely.
people can get that as
Yeah,
well?
this is on the website as well, but
I didn't see it.
you don't see it.
No, but if they can get that in the mail too with this other,
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me
with
see
their
how I
bill?
can make that happen. Thank you.
Okay.
This is great.
There's so much information. So we just had shredded event, and I handed every card that showed up in front of me. I handed them this information, and now I have. Let's see here. One more thing, real quick. Morris County gave us an environmental guide. You want to learn how to compost? It's in here. You want to learn how what not to recycle, and this is where I got that information from. See, it's right here in this book. It tells you how to conserve water. It tells you, now I have these at the library, I have them here. So people come and pay their taxes, these are here. So we're trying to get this information out. Every week it's changing on us. We can recycle, what was it? We weren't allowed to recycle 3s and 6s a couple years ago. Now it's,
That's plastic bottles.
yeah, now it's 4 of the numbers out of the 7 we can't recycle. So this is old. This just hangs up my office because it looks nice. But yeah, so it's not updated. But I do have updated copies. All this information can go out. If we can get it to the residents, it'd be great. Because I can be a mail carrier and go door to door, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
impossible.
yeah.
This town is huge. So I'm trying to get this information out, and it changes so much. Now I have another thing I'm coming up with this year, which I haven't done because I didn't need to. Because I'm about educating the residents. I'm not about finding them. I'll go to them and we'll correct the mistake. We'll make everybody happy. And so now, if they don't comply with recycling, I would go to their house and I would explain why and what needs to be done. And sometimes they don't want to hear it, but they do it, or they'll hide it now in their black plastic bags. But
Right.
I'll go back to that residence and I'll see if they're complying. And if they don't comply, I have a letter now that I've created, and it's a notice of violation in order to correct. It's not a fine. It's not. I'm not going to hit them with a violation. But this is, please be advised that person of the code of the Township of Parsippany Hills has been found of the following violations, and it would be, let's say, failure to recycle. And I have all the ordinances and the proper numbers on there for them. And so I would mail that to their house, and then see if that, because something gets to your house and you open it, then it's official, and then they'll see that they might get a fine for it. It's the same thing with Beverwood Road. All the businesses that are there, they're personally going to get a visit from me the first week of January. or second week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses, and they open up at different hours. So I'll hit them all personally, explain all this that has to be done, because we want to revamp the road. We want to make it beautiful. We want them to get more business. We don't want trash. We want the streets clean, and I'm going to make it my job to make sure that happens.
You're just addressing the recycling issue tonight, right? Not the rat issue.
I don't have the rat issue. It's never been addressed to me.
No.
That's more of a housing
It is
thing, I think.
The restaurants on North Beverwick Road we're talking about, and the
Right.
township
Right.
parking lot on North Beverwick Road.
Yes, there's a few businesses back there that have dumpsters back there.
Well, some of them don't have dumpsters either. And I was thinking.
Which is a problem in this town. There's no room for dumpsters. That's the problem.
Well, we need to find an answer because the rats are not not welcome there. And the only solution is to put the garbage in dumpsters that with lids that the rats cannot get into.
Okay, I
Cut
know
off the
which
food
one you're
supply, cut off the food supply, and they stop reproducing and they eventually disappear.
Right.
I suggested to the mayor yesterday, as a matter of fact, that we should adopt an ordinance requiring that establishments in town that have disposable food or handle food should have dumpsters. I'm not saying what size they should be, but they should have dumpsters with lids that close to prevent this. Just driving home from a function the other night, okay, there were 4 establishments on North Beverwick Road with white plastic bags and black plastic bags piled up by the curb. You know, great source of food for the rats.
A rat problem is not easy to correct even with lids, because the rats can get into a hole the size of this big, or they'll chew that lid open in a matter of a day or two.
Well, they get into a plastic bag a lot easier.
No, I agree with you, but I know what you're talking about, and to get dumpsters in the back of that area, I don't know.
Well, we'll have to work it out because
Right.
it's not satisfactory with what we're doing now. Something has to be worked out. If they have to drag a smaller dumpster through their restaurant in the evening after the customers leave, so be it. But it has to be worked out where we reduce the food supply in that area. We have people that are afraid to park in that parking lot, the township parking lot. One woman was coming out of a restaurant, and she jumped in the car and closed the door quick. She didn't want anything to scamper into her car while she's driving home. I mean, that's how panicked they are up there. It's got to be resolved.
Right.
Jimmy Walsh is working on it. He's looking to contain them.
There's a health, excuse me 1 second. One of our biggest things is we need departments other than Public Works to work with us. We need the health department, all right? We need, housing. All of this, if we can work together on this, we can accomplish this.
I agree.
What you said, Mike, is totally right. It's
Would
the
my-
garbage that's
would
causing
my
a lot of
ordinance
problems.
help? If we did an ordinance, as I suggested, requiring that they contain all edible food in dumpsters.
Right.
And a citation, the first offense, a fine, the second offense, a fine double the amount, the third offense, that kind of a thing, to motivate them if we have to. I'd like us to have an ordinance like that stands behind what you guys have to do.
I've stood up before you for many years up here and said the same thing, but, mayors have always felt that we don't want to punish our business owners here. Well, you know what? If you're not going to play with the game the way it's supposed to be played, we have no choice. And
We have a problem. We have to
yeah,
solve
we
it.
have it's a garbage issue. I run North Beverwick, or my guys run North Beverwick Road 3 days a week. Obviously, I can't do it Saturday or Sunday. If these businesses are going to put their garbage out on a Saturday night, shame on them.
Their pickup is Tuesday and Friday, but we do run Monday in case they put something out over the weekend, and we try and clean up the curb.
But at least if they put it out in locked lids, proper
Right.
way, it's not as bad.
Right. Oh, I agree with you. It's not an easy solution to get rid of the rat problem.
I understand
But,
that.
yeah,
But we
they
have
have to do a better job of it.
So you have to work with health and housing on that issue?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, anything that comes with vermin and animals and not properly storing it
Yeah.
is a health department
Yeah.
issue as well. They helped me, one incident we had with a business, and they shut them down
Mm-hmm.
because of the dumpster in the back was never picked up. They didn't pay their bill. So it was never picked up.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about rats and maggots and everything else back
Yeah.
there, and they got it taken care of.
Yeah.
So yeah, they stepped in and helped with that.
Well, you had mentioned that 80% of your problem is the businesses and not the residents, right?
Yes, the residents have such a small amount of recycling issues, weight-wise, compared to an office building with 500 people that aren't recycling. That's
Okay.
that's a big issue I have all over town. We have a lot of businesses that don't recycle properly. You can go to their dumpsters, and you can just amazed by what's in the recycling dumpster and what's in the garbage
Yeah.
dumpster. And
Yeah.
you know, MCMUA comes out with me, or we get pictures of it. We have haulers that come and dump over here at the tipping floor, and they'll be sent to me, and we'll say, wow, it's 2 tons of recycling just dumped on the garbage floor. And there's nothing you can do about it at that point because it's now contaminated.
Right.
So it goes into the garbage stream. But that's an ongoing issue that we have. The residents, they comply. Some of them are lazy. Like, you know, it happens. They just don't want to change with the rules. So one time they could use the plastic bags, now they can't, and now the world is just ended because they can't, you know, certain things. So
Right.
we go after them as much as we can without causing any problems.
We will get better.
Well,
We will take care of the issues that are still, believe me, I can tell you happily, the sun will come out tomorrow, but no, we're not quite ready to say that we've completely, you know, fixed the problem on North Beverage Road. It's almost like a 24/7 situation. Somebody's gotta be there all the time. He's done a nice job for me. He really
Yeah.
has. I like a guy that I never see in the office. He's always on the road doing his job. So, in conclusion, give us some time, 6 months or so, and we hope to be back here to tell you, and Mike tell you, that things look better, right? They really
well,
do.
I just want you were telling me about Morris County being one of the best recycling, wasn't
are.
that it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Guys,
that's a good thing.
guys, I'm sorry. I need you
Okay.
guys to speak into the mic, only for the record.
Are not loud enough.
Yeah, Morris County has the best recycling out of all the counties that Recommunity. This is what he told us when we were
Right.
sitting there. Of course, it was all Morris County that was sitting
Right,
there.
right.
But he said he has 7 locations, and they said Morris County has the cleanest and the best recycling. And we've never had a problem with Recommunity. We've never been told we are sending them bad product. He said your stuff is great. So as far as the towns go, we're following the rules. And same thing with the tipping floor. We are not putting recycling. Our trucks are not dumping recycling there. Otherwise, it would be a picture and it would be on my desk, and the MCMUA would be in my office saying, "What's going on? Why is your truck dumping recycling?" Have not had that happen.
Right.
So we're complying. And last year we did 144 million pounds of recycling material.
Wow.
144 million
Wow.
pounds.
That's-
So we're recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get better though.
Well, thank you, and we
Thank
just
you.
All right.
appreciate
Thank
your
you for
time.
being
Thank
here.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Be nicer next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good night,
Good
thank
night,
you.
Greg.
My wife goes to the hairdresser up in North Beverwick Road. I hear from those people.
Have a nice night.
Okay. Bids taken, July 23rd, 2018, replacement of lamps at Knoll Tennis Club within Parsippany Community Center, no bids received. September 6th, 2018, 1 new Type 3 Class 1 modular ambulance for Parsippany Ambulance Squad. To be taken, September 13th, 2018, supplying pumps, motors, generators, HVAC units, boilers, water heaters, water storage tanks, and parts repairs for various departments. September 20th, 2018, replacement of lamps at the Knoll Tennis Club within Parsippany Community Center, rebid. And October 5th, 2018, Craftsman Farms Administration Building Rehabilitation. Quotations, proposals, qualifications, none?
Closed session resolution, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss pending litigation, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn into closed session.
Grignani, made by Grignani.
A motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Abstain.
Okay, we are now going to go into closed session. No action is expected to be taken. Thank you.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to reconvene.
Motion.
Second?
Okay, motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy. She's in the restroom taking a break. Ms. Peterson
Yes.
and Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
Okay, the floor is open to the public to speak on any issue.
Okay, if you come up, please state your name and address, sign in, and you'll be given 5 minutes.
My name is Bob Venezia, and I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive. The last time I came before the council, I asked for information about the well that was taken offline by the water department. According to the business administrator, the well had run dry, and other sites were currently being evaluated to take its place. One of the council members added that similar occurrences have happened in the past, and that there's nothing for the public to be concerned about. Since that time, I have heard a rumor that has rekindled my concern about the closed well. I was told by a credible source that before the well went dry, it had actually become contaminated by a toxic chemical that was at or near the maximum allowable contamination level. Whether I continue to be concerned about our water supply now depends on your response to the following questions. First, is there any truth to this rumor? Was there a high level of a toxic contaminant in that well prior to its being shut down? And if so, can you identify the contaminant, explain what kind of danger, if any, that it presents to the public, and also explain what happened to the contaminated water? Thank you.
No idea.
You'll have to request a response from the water department.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We'll talk to the water department and have an answer for you at the next meeting.
Bob, if you want, you can state those questions in an email, and we can then forward it to John Waworka, who's in charge of the water department, have him answer that, and then he'll CC the council and everybody else. This way you can get an answer, because it seems like you want an answer now. We cannot give you an answer at this point. However, to expedite this for you, you can send me an email, and I'll make sure John Waworka addresses those 3 questions that you've had.
So none of you know anything about
No, I'm sorry.
contamination?
Hey, Bob, can you speak into the mic?
I said, so as of this point, nobody here on the dais knows anything about
No,
this well being contaminated.
not at all.
No.
Okay. I'll get the information and I'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Didn't the Terminator say that? He said that.
Lou Valori, 36 Gathering Hill Court. I'm just going to do a follow-up on what the gentleman had stated. There is rumors being speculated through the town about there was contamination in a well that eventually went dry. What I'd like to know is, I kind of find it hard to believe that no one up here knows about this, because it's something that's a severe nature to the public in regards to water contamination. And what I'd like to do as a follow-up on top of that is, when did this happen? I'm sure some up there knows, maybe from the law firm there, when this happened, Has the DEP been notified? Has the EPA been notified? Has the public been notified? Is this going to be affecting any other wells within the town or water supplies? Ms. Peterson, I know you're on the environmental committee, and if anybody should have known, should have been you. I'm not saying that you do know, but you should have been made aware of it. Because we talk about transparency. So we really need to know, do I need to come in and then Oprah the records of anything that pertains to this water contamination? Because, you know, in the past, you hear of school districts that have problems with their water supplies. Who would this been affected in the past? So what type of chemical is it? Is it a cancer-causing agent? So we really need to know a lot more about this, okay? Because I know up where I live, there's folks that know about this at the Powder Mill on the other side of town, and they want to know where this water contamination is. So I think it's only fair to all of you here, because this is something that's not going away, and how is this going to be taken care of? So if this well went dry, what are the procedures? And I'm glad there's individuals like this in the back here that get involved, because this is affecting everybody. And secondly, when it comes to affecting the public, I know on Littleton Road and 202 over there by Kingston, you know, where the state has all its equipment staged. There's a lot of individuals that live in that area, some of them were here tonight, that are getting woken up in the middle of the night because they're staging all their equipment. This, when I was on the council with you, Paul, this was something that was supposed to be taken care of a long time ago, and I'm not blaming anybody here. I'm just hoping that maybe you guys could put some influence and say, listen, move the equipment on the middle of the island on Route 80 and 287 where they had it forever out there, you know? But it's really affecting the public. I don't think it's fair to them, because we were promised so many times that it was going to be moved, the trees are going to be replanted and all that. So that's all I have, and I thank you for all your efforts up here. Thank you.
Nicholas Homiak from Lake Hiawatha. I'm here on behalf of myself and Mr. Ken Dolsky to ask that the council put on the agenda for the next meeting a resolution to support the state of New Jersey plastic ban, and primarily for the polystyrene products, the styrofoams that break up, you never get rid of. The plastic never goes away. Like I said, it's accumulating. But this is better than a local, instead of one town does it, another town doesn't. But I made a copy of the actual legislation pending, and Mr. Dolsky typed up a resolution for the town. So I'd like to present it to the clerk for the agenda and to be discussed at the next meeting. The more support this bill gets, the more chance we have of doing something about the environmental disaster that plastic is causing. So I'm going to give this to...
Nick, I think he actually emailed us that information, but I will take the hard copy, no problem.
He told me to show up tonight to...
we like seeing you
I
anyway,
guess,
Nick,
to give
so.
it the kick.
Nick, just so you know, I forwarded Mr. Dolsky's email that he had sent to all of us. I forwarded that to Mr. Lott. He's not here tonight, so I did forward that on to him to see if there was anything that we could, you know, draft up or come up with for that. So as soon as, you know, I get something from Mr. Lott, or, you know, where he gives us his legal advice on that.
And you do have Ken's resolution?
No.
Yes. Well,
No,
we
I
have
believe
what
Ken-
he forwarded us in an email.
The resolution was attached, I believe.
Okay, good.
I know he sent it to me directly, but I will take that hard copy just in case.
If he sent it to you, I'm sure he...
Yeah, you didn't get it? It was attached.
Well, I'll take that hard copy
Yeah,
anyway.
It was
Nick.
attached. It was attached to our email.
Yeah, it was.
All right. All right. And
Just as a note on that, I spoke with Mr. Lott as well about that, and he's going to check into some things before anything can be drawn up.
Right.
But we haven't even discussed it on the
Right.
council
He needs to.
yet.
You know,
it's just in support of whatever the state wants to do. The bill seems pretty good, and it's still not going to end the plague of plastic, but it's going to put a dent in it. I'd just like to make a remark on what Mr. Schneider says, I have a thing here from the old Barbario administration when I first started complaining about North Beverwick, February the 20th, 2013. And all the things that are expressed in this letter never been fulfilled. We're asking you to provide to use your own containers, which will keep either behind your own building. That's why I show you this picture. And they were dumping everything on the town. And not for anything, but you go up there by the Knoll Gardens, and they have these different areas. And then there's areas where they only have dumpsters for recycle. And other areas in apartment units where there isn't any recycle. So they're not going to walk to where they have to go. They're dumping everything in there. I saw a guy dumping metal in the one today, and I go, you don't recycle that stuff? He goes, oh, I wouldn't know. Well, you wouldn't know because why wouldn't you know? You just threw it in the dumpster. But anyway, the Knoll Gardens need to be taken a look at too. And when they say they don't want to find anybody, I had an incident where I had some property destroyed, blah, blah, blah. And then I had somebody made a complaint against my lawn, but
1 minute.
I don't have a lawn, I have a meadow. Anyway, I got a letter, official letter from the Township of Parsippany telling me if I didn't cut my grass in 30 days, I was going to be fined $2,000 or spend 90 days in jail. So I got the people from housing over and explained to them. But if they would do something like that to some of these store owners or people that are violating the rules, that would be a wake-up call. $2,000. Whoa, you know. And
30 seconds.
this is a great book here. It explains how everything is connected in the world. It's Lester Brown from the Earth Institute. Even page 113 has about how important recycling is in here, but it's all about how we have to maintain and restore the Earth's natural systems. That is what we face in the future. Not military threats, ecological and environmental threats. So I'd like to leave it, and you could actually download this whole book and read the whole thing, but would anyone in particular like to? All right.
Thank you.
And I'll end it. There is a contaminated well, and it's the word that Bob, the thing they use for dry cleaning fluid. I don't say it enough to say the whole thing, but it was found in a well in Parsippany. But because of the Homeland Security rules, they can't tell you which well it is.
Yes, I'd like to make a note of that. If anybody's putting in OPA requests, please do not put in OPA requests that talk about the location of wells or any of that kind of information, because they have been denied in the past. And Bob, I am working with you on getting the number of wells, and I believe my office has contacted you with regards to that. So I just want to make that clear, that it's not that we cannot give that information, it's that we are legally not allowed for security reasons.
And Parsippany is having recharge problems with the wells. Some of them are 30 feet. I think 7 out of 19 wells are 30 feet below their low capacity level. So that means, you know, we have recharge problems.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
My name is Bob Bars. I live at 807 Park Road, which is the corner of Henry Street, which is a little tiny dinky one-lane street that up until about 15 years ago was a dirt road. I've lived here for 29 years. I maintain my property right up to the edge of Henry Street. I planted numerous new shrubbery there the last couple years. There was a old lady that lived in this back section of Henry Street. There's one little dinky house back there. Florence Tiedemann, she's been gone for 15 years. Her house still stands. It's been vacant for 15 years. For the last 6 years, I've been trying to get the house removed. Hopefully, nothing else done.